Well, hello everyone. In this lesson, this is a lesson for absolute beginners, okay? I'm going to teach you 5 very basic chords. Let's start off with an E minor chord, probably one of the easier chords to make. If you look at the diagram that came with this lesson, you see your fretting hand. There's 4 fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? And these diagrams are showing you where to put your fingers. So with an E minor chord, there's actually 2 ways you could do it. You can either use your first finger right here on the 5th string, the 2nd fret, and your second finger on the 2nd string of the 4th fret, like so. Now you want to fret down. You don't want to push too hard, just hard enough. You might experiment by just laying your finger on the string and pushing down gently until the note rings out. So you don't want to push too hard. You don't want to have like a vice grip on the guitar neck there. Just kind of as gentle as you can do it and still make the chords ring. That's how hard you want to press down, or how lightly you want to press down. Now, we take this E minor chord, and you want all 6 strings to ring. Sometimes this last one may not ring because this part of your hand is touching the string, and you got to bring it out so that string's in the open. Okay. Now, sometimes you may have like this finger here maybe touching this 3rd string, and you think, why isn't that string sounding? Well, it's instead of your finger just touching 1 string down here, it may actually be touching 2 by mistake. So you want to make sure that your fingers are only touching 1 string. Even if you have big fingers, fat fingers, whatever, it's still possible to do this. I've seen guys with enormous hands play little bitty mandolins with microscopic frets way up the back. If they can do that, then we can make this happen. Okay. Let's go to the next chord. That'd be a G. Start off putting your first finger on the 2nd fret here of the A string. Your second finger would then go on the 3rd fret of the 6th string, and then this 3rd finger here would go down here on the 3rd fret of the A string. The E string. Okay. Now, a mistake I've seen people do is they might have their fingers looking like that. You know, what you want to do is have them kind of angled together, kind of heading off that direction from the fretboard. You don't want to have them heading this way or laying flat. Kind of have them, the fingers coming down, just the fingertips touching the strings, and maybe gently angled that way off the neck and maybe that way towards the head of the guitar. Not this way, but that way, okay? That'll help a little bit. Also, if bringing this finger on here just seems impossibly awkward and hard, again, remember you got this universal joint here in your wrist and your elbow, and you can try different angles until you find one where that thing, it just kind of lays there. And again, try just laying the fingers on there at first, not pressing down until you get it, and then press down. Okay? Your next chord is a D chord, and you put your first finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. You put your second finger here on the 2nd fret of the E string, and then you put your 3rd finger here on the 3rd fret of the B string. And on this one, you'll notice on your diagram there's little X's marked above the 5th and 6th strings of the guitar. That means you don't play those strings. You're only going to play the bottom 4 strings here. So you don't play these 2 top ones, just the bottom 4, okay? The little O at the top of the 4th string means you play that string open, okay? Now let's go to the C chord. C chord, you start with first finger here on the 1st fret of the B string. Your second finger comes down on the 2nd fret of the D string, and your 3rd finger comes down here on the 3rd fret of the A string. You don't play, there's an X on the diagram above the 6th string, so you don't play this string. And you just get that chord, that C chord on the bottom 5. Now to make your A minor chord, if we're on the C, let's leave it right where it's at, and just leave these 2 where they're at, and just lift this guy up and put him right over here on the 2nd fret of the G string, okay? And you get that A minor. You don't play the E string. Notice there's an X above that diagram there. Okay, so we have E minor, G, D, C, and A minor. Now with those 5 chords, you can play hundreds of songs. One that comes to mind is if you're familiar with Yellow Submarine by the Beatles, it uses those chords. And I'm still working out copyright mechanical licenses for this site. So for now I can't give you the music on that, but if you go to find that sheet music in the key of G, it uses those 5 chords. And it's a good song to learn because the chords change rather quickly. Now, I have another lesson that you should check out called Awkward Chord Changes, because when you're first getting started, it feels awkward to go from G to C. It feels awkward to go from G to D. Everything seems awkward at first. But if you take a look at that lesson on awkward chord changes, even though I'm dealing with some advanced jazz chords, the principles there are still the same, where you just lay your fingers gently on the strings, not pushing down, and repeatedly build your muscle memory by going back and forth, laying your fingers gently on the strings, not pressing down. But check out that lesson, it'll help you on this one. And stick with it, persevere. These chords were awkward for every one of us when we started learning the guitar. I guarantee it. No one did them easy the first day and said, oh, there's nothing to this. Every one of us felt like we were being exposed to some kind of alien instrument that made no sense. So stick with it. Every time you try to make a chord and you fail, and it sounds like this. You know what? You're actually building up strength in your hands. So don't think of it as a failure. Just think of it as an exercise. You're building strength in your fingers. And if you persevere, you will get these chords down. You will. So stick with it. It's good to have a teacher, find someone that plays guitar that can look at you, make sure you're doing it right, and give you some pointers there face to face in person. But hopefully that'll get you started on it. Enjoy.